Right, are we all ready for our next two acts? It's getting late now, I don't want to waste any more time. I don't want you too tired before I bring them on. Apparently we've done quite well raising money. We've done quite well on the raffle tickets, done quite well on the buckets. So thank you very much for that. Thank you to John. What you don't know, he hasn't really got cancer, but he made it up. It was a plant. Had you all off. Every one of you is fucking... You got conned, mate. Right, I'm bringing on your next act. Hands together. Stamp your feet. More. More. And welcome to the stage, Mr. Steve Faragher.
Searching through the streets again, through the streets of Kenny.
I can't see anyone, you know, so it's like, see a couple on the front. Apparently, you're the troublemakers. Hello, everyone. You having a good time? Yeah, 6 weeks ago, we didn't know each other, and we didn't know fuck all about comedy. Just that we wanted to do something, and we've done it, and it's happened tonight, and it's all been great fun, and it's for a good cause, obviously. I'm just trying to get a bit of it, you know. So, my name's Steve Faragher. I live and work in a little rural village on the outskirts of Liverpool called Kensington. You all know it, you know. It was named in the Doomsday Book, Nessington and Fierfelt. A lot of people give it a bad reputation, but I've actually, you know, I moved there in the 90s, and it was because it was cheap to live there. But I've stayed there, you know, I love it. Got involved with the community and everything like that. But a lot of people got a bad word for it. And, you know, you can always tell whether they like it or not, because they don't say Kensington. They say Kenny. Eee. And it sounds like you've stood in something. Oh, my God, I've got a bit of Kenny on my foot. So, you know, give it its right name, really, Kensington. It's not named after London, Kensington, either. So I'll give you a little bit of background about what I do. As I say, I work in the community. And about 16 years ago, 2007, I decided it'd be really good if we had a radio station in Kensington. Kenny Radio? No, it wasn't called that. You can get a license to go on air for like 10 days and have your own radio station. Ours was on 87.7, and we started training all the local people. I got some money, we started training the local people to do their own radio programs. But I thought I need to go out into the businesses, get the businesses on board, get them civically engaged. Okay, so the first shop I went into on Prescott Road, Saturday morning I went in, the guy was behind the counter. It was a furniture shop, so I don't know why he was behind the counter. Might have been his counter. And I said, I was all bright and bushy. I was 16 years younger, so I was about 32. And I went in there and I said, I've come to tell you some good news. Felt like it was a Samaritan or what do you call them there? Jehovah's Witness. I've got some good news for you. We're going to have a radio station in Kensington, and all the public's going to be behind it, and it's going to be civically engaged. And he went, what the fuck do we want one of them round here for? So that was a good start. Anyway, we started training people. We were training kids from 9, training adults up to about 75. I think the oldest one was. The problem was it's all right. Do you know what the next line is? Come up and finish it for me. Because I've probably forgot it by now. No, what happened was we got dead close to the time we were going on air. And we didn't have anywhere to put the studio. And there's not many places. You know, there's a lot of empty shops in Kensington, but sometimes you can't get in them. Well, you know, there's probably some people who can get in them. So it ends up that the only place we could think of to hold it was in Mackey's. You know, the Mackey's on Kensington. And everyone's going, fucking hell, we can't do that in the Mackey's. We went in, and they were quite happy about it. You know, they didn't want to sponsor us, mind you, but, you know. So we built a glass studio, like a greenhouse in the corner out of an old, what's them, suppositories? What are they called? What's them things, the glass houses that you call? No, the other ones you have in your house, double glazed. Conservatory, that's it. So we had this conservatory. Did I say suppository then? We had this conservatory in a corner with all the radio equipment in. And we had all the kids from the schools coming in. in the morning. Then we had the adults doing the lunchtime program. Then we had the schools coming in again, and more adults. And we went on to about 8 o'clock at night. And we ended up recording it all, and then we play it back through the night. So we were on air all the time. And a couple of things happened. I'll tell you two of them. Well, I'll tell you three. Because there was three originally till I said two. Every day, come on, I'm trying to educate. It's a TED Talk. So I said, every day, this guy walked into McDonald's. This is not a joke, by the way. There isn't like a big punchline. Well, there is a punchline. And he used to pull a chair up in front of the radio, and he'd sit there with his head on his hands, watching the radio. And it wasn't until a couple of years later I realised we'd invented podcasts. It could have made some money on it. The second thing that happened is we started getting text messages about child exploitation. We were exploiting children by putting them on the radio. Now, we thought we were doing good. We were giving them communication skills, self-confidence. They were all bringing guests in from all over the place, all these people. And it turned out it was being replayed at 3 o'clock in the morning. And they thought we were going round, dragging all the kids out of their beds and sticking them on the radio. Like a gun to their heads. Come on, you're going on the radio now. Come on, kid, come on, be happy. And the other thing that happened, because it was in a radio station, because it was in a McDonald's, there was a drive-through, right? So apparently people used to come in and they'd put their order. So the woman behind the counter would go, "Can I have your order, please?" And then the person in the car would go, "Can I have 2 Big Macs, 2 fries, and 2 milkshakes, please? And can I have a shout out for me bird?" And then the woman would come back and go, "Do you want to supersize that?" He said, "Yeah, can I have a Bohemian Rhapsody?" So, anyway, that's the radio station. We ended up setting up Liverpool's. This is a plug now, so I want loads of people listening. We have Liverpool's only community radio station in Kensington on FM 106.7. Start listening, you will enjoy it. Do you know what? You clapped at just the right moment. Does anyone listening to it now? There you go. I don't mean now. I mean the rest of the week. It'd be dead rude if you did it now. But, you know, Kensington's is famous. It's infamous. It's famous for a lot of things. It was the first place the Beatles, they weren't the Beatles then, they were the Quarrymen, recorded their first single in 1958. 17.6 it cost them. The single went round the world because they were supposed to lend it to each other, the Quarrymen. And one of them went to Australia. And the single came back 30 years later. And they found it in a sock drawer. And Paul McCartney bought it for 200,000 quid. Now, 17.6, 200,000 quid. It's not a bad trade-up, is it really? They also, Kensington's also famous for the man who invented the crossword. He lived on Edge Lane. Okay. Now, he's dead now, obviously, because it was in 1926. But if you want to find his grave, it's in Anfield Cemetery. It's 26 across, 9 down. But one of the main things, especially the ones who call it Kenny, is Shield Road, the sex workers on Shield Road. Now, some people call them different names, sex workers, prostitutes, whatever. I won't say anything else. But sometimes people call them the ladies of the night. Now, if you've ever been down Shield Road, you know it's not just a night. The ladies of the morning, they're on shifts. Ladies of the afternoon, ladies of the tea time, ladies of the supper time. They're always there. They're always there. But the one thing you can say about them is that they're keeping up with modern technology. I was driving down there a couple of weeks ago. They started to wear little T-shirts like that with slogans on. Remember, Frankie says relax now. Well, you don't have that. The first one I saw had a QR code on it, right? So you could scan it and find out what was happening in her life. The second one I saw, she had, "I'm contactless." See, you had to think about that one then, didn't you? And the third one I saw had double nectar points on Wednesday night. So talking of nectar points, I'm quite a green person. You know, we have the 2 bins in the house. You know, when you're going to recycle stuff, you look at it and you go, Some stuff's easy, like paper and cardboard. But some of the stuff you go, and you put it in that one, and then when I get up, my wife's put it in the other one. So you can't recycle that. Can't recycle that. So I've always been interested in bees. Okay, bees. You know the little buzzy bees. There's 220 different varieties of bees, but only one of them makes honey. Did you know that? You do now. And I've always wanted to have a beehive. Get some bees going, get some honey. Be great to have Kenny honey, wouldn't it? Oh, sorry, Kensington honey. And so I thought, how do you do that? You know, do you go and buy a bee? You know, you buy one bee and you stick it in your yard with a couple of cups of nectar, and all its mates come, and then they all start gathering, so you make a little, like, hive. And so I went to Pets R Us and went in and said, well, I went in and said, where's the bee section? Right. And that was the last thing you remember. I was getting thrown out the place for taking the piss. And the security guard said, why don't you look online for them? So I went online. I went to this bit is genuinely true. You can check it when you get in. There's a website called Plan B. I googled adopt a bee, and that came up. Okay, it's a bit of a swizz really, because when I went and looked at the site, there wasn't any bees to adopt. They had gift sets. It was one of these ones, you know, gift sets, 38 quid for a jar of honey, a bar of soap, and one of them little swizzly spoons you get with your honey. Oh, fucking hell, I thought that's a bit of a swizz, that, isn't it? But the one thing it did tell me was the honey from different places tastes different because of the plants and everything. So it was interesting. It set me mind running, you see, about Liverpool. And if you had different bees in different places, what would the honey taste like? I should have a map of Liverpool, couldn't you? So I've got to take a run up at this one, because I keep forgetting one of the words in this thing. So I'll do. No, I've got 2 letters on my hand. I can't remember what the 2 letters are for. So, and I wash my hands as well. So anyway, I'm going to give like 3 things, and I'm going to tell you. You can have a guess if you want, but let's talk about. Okay, so this honey which I'm tasting now. You ready? Watch. This is mine for you. Right, tasting honey. Ooh, I can taste a tiny bit of Botox. Ooh, a reasonably. I've been trying to get this. A reasonably priced white wine. Okay, and a sense of self-entitlement. Any ideas? Alison, Kirby, West Kirby. Oh, you got the cafe in Oil Lake, have you? I'll change it to Oil Lake next time I do that one. The second one, okay. So I'm tasting it again. Hang on. I'm tasting it. I can taste the salty sea of the Mersey. I can smell diesel fumes. Oh, there's a hint of sweaty sock. Any ideas? What? Bootle, you're close. You get the prize. You get the jar of Bootle honey. And then the last one. See if you can guess this one. This should be quite obvious, really. You can taste a little bit of. Hang on, we'll do the sound effect again. You seem to like that, don't you? Hang on. Imagine me doing this in your ear, ladies. And gentlemen. Okay, so you go. We'll taste a bit of skunk. And then. Oh, I can taste white lightning cider. And go on, last one. That's the last one for tonight, by the way. So if you want any more, then I'll give you my email address later. Okay, calm down, will you? What's the last thing on that? Oh yeah, the last thing on that list is kebab. Right. Kenny, did someone say Kenny then? Yeah, well done. I'm going to teach you to say it properly later. So anyway. We were on Shield Road before when we were talking about the sex workers, the ladies of the night. Shield Road's also famous for something else, and that's the Shield pub. Has anyone been in the Shield pub? Oh, there's a few yeses there. You know it? Yeah, well, I bet you do, yeah. The best thing, if you drive past it when there's a karaoke competition on, fucking speed up. So someone told me that someone was flogging a knockoff beehive in the Shield Park. You know, but he did it like, do you know there's a knockoff beehive in the Shield Park? So anyway, guy was called Eddie. He could have had a name beginning with B, but I can't think of one at the moment. Bernie. Okay, we'll call him Bernie. So I went into the Shield Park. You go in the Shield Park, and it's pitch black. You can just see little eyes staring at you. And then, have you ever seen the first Star Wars when that Han Solo goes into that bar, and they've all got like 3 eyes and 2 heads and all that? Well, that's the Shield Park for you. So I walked in, looking round, went to the counter, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to do it again now, just for psst." No, that's not the same. So I went to the barman, and he came over, and it turned out to be Skippy, the bush kangaroo. So I'm standing there. I said, "Where's Bernie? Where's Bernie the beehive?" So he said, "He's over in that corner." And I could see this little silhouette by the window and this big mound on the table, which was obviously the beehive. I know you're very perceptive, and sometimes I do have to explain things to you. So I went over, and as I got closer, I could hear beep. The power of the microphone. What are you like? Can I have your address and come to the next gig? So anyway, I go over to Bernie, he's sitting in a corner. He looked dead shifty. He had a spliff in his hand as well. So, because they're allowed to smoke in the pubs in Kensington. And I said to Bernie, "How much? We're having it's a knockoff beehive, so we're going to have a knockoff. What did I say before? Yeah, we're going to have a negotiation. Is that someone who trained us or something? Because that was the right word. So we're having a knockoff negotiation. He wants £100 for it because he's seen it on eBay. He's seen one in Winchester on eBay, and I thought, well, So we're in this negotiation. I get him down to £20, well below the little bee box for £38. So I'm doing well, and I knew they were alive because you hear them. You could see them pushing against the black plastic bag, pushing out like that, trying to get out to get the honey. Go and get the nectar, get the honey, and bring it back. So, paid him the money, give him the money, lifted it up carefully. Anyone know Kensington? I walked down Prescott Road. This is me walking down Prescott Road, right? Getting to the Burnham Road, turn right, and then South Bank Road. That's where I live, but I'm not telling you what number. And my wife welcomed me in. She wasn't too happy about the knockoff because she's a very moral woman. Why she's married to me, I've got no fucking idea. So taking it to the kitchen, start cutting away the plastic bag that the hive was in. And I'm getting really excited now because I've got my hive. Be having me honey in a couple of weeks. Be able to put jars outside and sell it. Everything like that. Took the cover off and the fuckers flew away. Right? But you know what was worse? They weren't bees, they were wasps. So I thought, I've been fucking stung here. Thank you. Right, just want to say one thing to you now, 2 things really. Give bees a chance. And give Kensington a chance too as well.
Steve Faragher, everyone! You want to hear any more from Steve? He's on community radio. It's midnight doing ASMR hour. Right, we all